This up, hit that, save, and now we got audio.
Good morning and welcome to the March 18th session. Before we start, as usual, we have local clergy come in, and again today we have David Tennant, Woodsville United Methodist Church. Thanks for coming again.
Morning, good to see you. Good morning. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we give you thanks for this day. We live in a strange world, an upside down world, and has since the beginning of time, since sin entered. We hear of wars and rumors of wars, as Scripture tells us, and we live in times where people say that right is wrong and wrong is right, and black is white and white is black, and bitter is sweet and sweet is bitter. So we continue to seek peace. But Father, only through you can we find true peace. Your promises from John 14, peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. Not as the world gives do I give to you. Let not your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid. Also from John 16, in me you may have peace. In the world you will have trouble. But I take heart, I have overcome the world, in the last promise. And again, for this body as they make their decisions and in their actions, and for us in our decisions and our actions, that we would seek you from the Old Testament. If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven, will forgive their sin, and will heal their land. So for all of us in this day, that the other scripture would be realized. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Painter, you want to lead us in the
Be
pledge?
honored to. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First on the agenda is item B, approval of regular session minutes of March the 11th. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Item C is new employee introduction. Ralph, you going to do this?
Ralph Liddy, Assistant County Administrator. It is my pleasure to introduce Sean Rowley as our new Emergency Management Agency Director. I am very pleased that this position has been filled for many reasons. I'd like to give you some background information on Sean. He is originally from Jackson, Ohio, and has a bachelor's degree in political science and a master's degree in public administration. He currently resides in Reading, Ohio, with his wife of 13 years and his 3 daughters, aged 10, 9, and 5.
He's busy.
Prior to coming to Clermont County, Sean spent nearly 8 years with the Hamilton County Educational Service Center as administrator of school safety. While in that position, he worked with various schools in southwestern Ohio on their safety and security preparedness being prepared. Prior to that position, Sean spent over 10 years with the Ohio Department of Public Safety, working with the Ohio Homeland Security on issues related to critical infrastructure protection and grants. And while with the Ohio Emergency Management Agency, he worked there with grant budgeting and operational emergency management as a state liaison to the Southwest Ohio, and have been involved with one of the floods down here in New Richmond many years ago. He brings a ton of experience to this position at Hamilton County. Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Very nice.
Welcome, Sean.
Thank you.
Take a picture.
Yeah.
Is that the only one we have?
That's the only
Yes.
one we have.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Now I really do feel short.
Lengthy, yeah. All right, everyone look here. We'll go 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank
Okay,
you.
Sean.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, I'm going to ask that we move item H, executive session, up because of a timing issue with our attorney. So I will read this. I'm asking for executive session pursuant to section 121.22 G3 of the Ohio Revised Code to confer with the attorney for the board concerning disputes involving the public body that are the subject of pending or imminent court action. May I have a motion to go into executive session?
Make the motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. We shall return. We have returned from executive session. There were no actions or decisions made. We're going to move on now with item D, public participation. Who's the first that wants to speak? Step up, please. Name and address.
Read your thing.
Oh, wait a minute. I forgot.
Okay.
Okay, let me just make this. During this time, the board does not answer questions nor engage in a debate. The commissioners are not expected to comment on matters brought to the board during this time, although we can make a comment if we so choose. Each speaker shall only speak once. And in accordance with our rules, your comments are limited to 5 minutes. Now, name and address.
Okay, it's Dan Day, 4354 Ireton Road, Williamsburg, Ohio. I'm just this is my, I think, 6th time being here, and there's some updates of what's been going on. On 1/15/26, I had a lengthy meeting with Clermont County Prosecutor Mark DeCalby, finally. It was suggested by Mr. DeCalby, based on photographs he viewed from the original case was closed, to file a new referral with photographs showing the sediment from erosion are still extensively migrating off Nichols' property onto my property, and the fact that John McManus stated in 2 different emails that in fact there was still erosion occurring after the case was closed. Mr. DeCalby suggested I take photographs on this day, 1/15/26, and attach them with other photographs that were taken on 10/2, 10/7, and 11/18/25. And this was after the case was closed, these photographs. And I'm here today to dispute the findings that Chris McClintock states in the County Commissioners meeting on November 19th, 2025, that no violations were found. I'm going to read the violations that came from the building department letterhead and the letterhead of the Office of the County Commissioners. This is from the building department. On 3/12/25, hillside has been torn up and dirt been pushed into the stream. Could potentially cause sediment to blow onto other properties and ponds. It looks like the work was done across property lines. Will need permits and will need a plan to reduce erosion. Jacob Lynch from the Soil and Water Conversation. This is from the letterhead of Clermont County Commissioners Notice of Violation. An inspector visited the site and observed trees have been removed and earth has been moved to create a path. The excess dirt was pushed into a stream, potentially affecting downstream properties and being a cause of unwanted sediment deposits. Stop any current work and apply for a permit with the building department. Required action. Obtain a required permit if the grading, alter surface drainage, poses an erosion hazard, or disturbs more than 1 acre. Additionally, appropriate erosion control measures must be implemented to prevent sediment runoff. All work must comply with Clermont County regulations. Notice of violation. The required action. Implement erosion and sediment control measures to prevent sediment from entering adjacent stormwater drainage systems, public water courses, or surrounding properties. This may include installing silt fences, sediment traps, straw wattles, best management practices as outlined in the Clermont County Water Management and Sediment Control Regulations. Additionally, any existing erosion hazards must be stabilized using appropriate methods such as seeding, mulching, and erosion control blankets. This letter has been prepared to communicate our findings to the property owner of record, identify applicable regulatory requirements, and provide recommendations to resolve the violations. The violations outlined above must be resolved within 30 days from the date of mailing of this notice letter or by 4/13/2025, or will be referred to the Clermont County Prosecutor's Office, signed by the head of the building department, Bruce Craze. On April 2nd, 2025, WMSC regulation review not approved. Please know the approvals for the other agencies, EPA, ODOT, etc., may be required. The offices listed above, which have not approved your projects, have prepared correction items which are enclosed. Thank you in advance for your cooperation. Your application of approval of plans have been reviewed and pending approval based on the following items: erosion and sediment control. Please provide an erosion and sediment control plan. Provide details for all measures used. WMSC site requirements. The plan is incomplete. Please see Clermont County WMSC regulations 41012A. Need revised site plan showing the detailed extensive earth movement work involved in the development, where the excavation fill is taking place on the property, how much dirt is being moved and to where. Need to show property boundaries and how earth movement shall not create conditions that cause increased stormwater flow onto adjacent lands, create an erosion hazard, become a source of sediment to any adjacent property, or to stormwater drainage systems, including drainage swells. This does not need to be stamped by a registered surveyor if all the information can be provided on site plan without a stamp. This is from Greg Smory, Clermont County Building Department. On April 22nd, it was an inspection by Jacob Lynch. Application appears to be denied and everything still needs to be fixed.
Sir, your 5 minutes are up.
It's up?
Yes.
Yeah, you've been.
Can I get like one more minute?
If you make this real quick.
Okay. The WMSC regulations by Clermont Building Department, Section 120. The WMSC regulations of Clermont County shall be administered by the CCBID. The building official of the CCBID shall be the administrator and shall enforce these regulations and issue such notices and orders as may be necessary. The County Commissioners meeting of 11/19, Commissioner Painter was asked, is it true, based on what is said in the county's own doctrine, that the building department enforces the WMSC permit? I asked if this was true, and Commissioner Painter stated, that is true, sure.
Okay. We're going to have to move on.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
Jane Holzer, Pierce Township. I've asked the same question before and I will ask it again. We hear that the 287G contract will keep the residents of Clermont County safer. Commissioner Painter, you said that's one of your goals, and it should be one of your goals. We've had a couple of speakers who have been in support of this contract, and their comments were that they approve of it because it keeps us safer. My question is, keeps us safer from what? How am I, as a resident of Clermont County, safer because of the 287G contract? Statistics do not prove this. They do not prove that ICE activities keep me as a resident here safer. We heard prior to the 24 election from the current administration that ICE was going to rid us of immigrants who are murderers and rapists and gang members. Well, here's the statistics. Murderers and rapists together are less than 2% of the ICE arrests. Gang members are about 2% of the ICE arrests. That means 96% of ICE arrests do not fall into these categories that the administration said, promised us, that's what they were focusing on. 55% of ICE detentions have no criminal record. We then give them a civil immigration violation. That is not a criminal offense. It's a civil offense. 39% did have some criminal arrest. However, the great majority of them were minor offenses, misdemeanors, traffic violations, things that many people in this room, I think, would have. So how is this contract that we have with ICE keeping me and you safer. It is not. In fact, it might be keeping us less safe because it is pulling some of the attention of our Clermont County deputies to do ICE's work rather than taking care of us in the county and addressing the crimes or even traffic control in the county. It's pulling them away from things that have to do with us in Clermont County and our safety. I'm sure you all read the news this week of the man who was arrested for multiple rapes, and that is a horrible, horrible thing. He has not been convicted. He has not had his due process yet. I hope he does have his due process. And people will use that to say, oh, this is why we need ICE. That whole process went through just as it would with any homegrown person, with the deputies of Clermont County doing their job. The hospital did their job in reporting. The appropriate other organizations in the county came in, and the deputies came in. This was not something that ICE did for us. This was an example of Clermont County law enforcement working as they should work. And I am totally in favor of that, and I think we are all totally in favor of that. The fact that he is an immigrant, ICE can do what they will do with that. But hopefully this is a due process that goes through the Clermont County court system. So I go back to my question. How is this 287G contract between our deputies and ICE making any one of us in this room who is a Clermont County resident safer? Statistics do not show that it's doing that. And it may well be making us less safe because it's taking away our law enforcement full attention. Thank you.
Okay, who's next?
My name is Jen Mazzucchelli. I live in Union Township. So I kind of want to talk about that, but also just due process. Because when I talked to Sheriff Stratton about the 287G contract and why he thought it was important, he said it was another tool that they could use to detain criminals in the county. And he referred to somebody who had been accused of rape, and they couldn't arrest him on that. So he called the prosecutor because they ran his information and found out he was illegal. And so they're holding him until trial for that. So everybody in this country, whether they're visiting or they're an immigrant or they're an illegal immigrant, everyone is entitled to due process. Everybody is entitled to our civil rights under the Constitution. Being held without cause, that's just a lack of due process. And here's an example of the difference between the way American citizens are treated and the immigrants in this country right now. Actually, for a while, even before this administration. So on July 5th, I was pulled over for speeding, and to make a long story short, because I have terrible balance, I failed the field sobriety test, and I was arrested for an OVI. I'm not guilty of an OVI. I haven't had a drink of alcohol in 30 years. But I have the opportunity to go to court and prove that I am innocent. I'm not in jail because I have not been convicted of anything. My license has not been suspended because I have not been convicted of anything. My car, I still have driving privileges because I am not convicted of anything yet. The immigrants in this country are not afforded that same due process. This man he may have committed rape, he may not have committed rape, but he should be arrested on rape. Or if he can't be arrested on those charges, go to court and then deal with it. That is how our court system works. If you're charged with something, you know. But the immigration thing, they're just locking up people, anybody. And just to prove the point, okay, here's the point. Just recently, 6 Republican sheriffs in Florida have come out against this, against what ICE is doing. And one of them is quoted as saying in a Florida publication, I wholeheartedly agree that Congress needs to get off their butts and fix it, meaning the immigration system. But he said, we're not out just raiding businesses and homes. But unfortunately, and here's the concern we all have, unfortunately, when ICE gets involved, you have the collaterals. When ICE gets involved, journalists are arrested because they look Hispanic. They look like an illegal alien. People are arrested and detained because they have accents. People are arrested and detained because they were in the wrong place. American citizens are being arrested and detained because they were using their First Amendment rights to stand up against this. That's what happens when ICE gets involved. And it is wrong to use immigration as a tool to hold somebody when you wouldn't be able to hold them otherwise than that. That is wrong. If you're going to hold them on immigration charges, hold them on immigration charges, but you can't hold them just because they're illegal on criminal charges that you can't arrest them for. That is a bastardization of the due process. And it's not right. And we should be doing things that are right. If we live in a country that has a democratic system that is of the people, by the people, and for the people, and a government made of laws, we should be following the laws at every level of the government, especially the county government, where you are supposedly the most responsive to the people, where the people have the most opportunity to address our grievances.
Okay, who's next?
Regina Bajorek, Monroe Township. Okay. I'm back today to continue another sign of fascism, and that is suppression of scientific freedom. And that is when scientific research is restricted, defunded, or manipulated to conform to the state ideology and political goals. In legalplanet.org, it states, Trump repealed a standing order protecting scientific integrity. The Centers for Disease Control, or CDC's research journal, has been co-opted by political appointees. The center's more than 7,800 research grants were terminated or frozen. Some 25,000 scientists and personnel are gone from agencies that oversee research. I would say scientific research is restricted, defunded, and manipulated to conform to the state ideology and political goals. Historical examples are Nazi rejection of Jewish physics, including Einstein's theories, fascist regimes favoring pseudoscientific racial theories over evidence-based science, and warning signs today restricting or defunding research that contradicts political narratives. This past February, Trump tried to cut 600,000 CDC funds he had just signed into law. His change of mind appeared to be associated with funds going to sanctuary cities. Removing specific data from government websites is another warning sign. along with appointing political lobbyists rather than qualified experts to scientific positions. Scientific integrity was definitely harmed by Trump's choice of Robert F. Kennedy Jr., whose views are often detached from scientific evidence, to head the Department of Health and Human Services. And how we're called to respond if we care anything about science and research and the care of this planet and people is to support independent scientific research and funding, promote scientific literacy in education and public discourse, and to defend the integrity of scientific institutions against political interference. Okay, I wear this breast cancer pin my sister-in-law gave me because November of 2024, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I had surgery before the end of the year and started radiation treatment in 2025. This was happening around the same time that funding cuts were being made to science, which included cancer research. Cancer is the second leading cause of death, yet our so-called pro-life president has cut funds for cancer research and so far has spent $11 billion with a B on the present war in Iran, according to several Trump administration officials. Hopefully, my cancer does not return and new cancers in need of research do not ever occur in this world. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Good morning. Kevin Bruce from Union Township. Thank you for this chance to speak. And following up on some of that, I would mention that President Trump has just gone after millions in funding for the people who voluntarily went into New York after the 9/11 disaster caused by Saudi Arabian recruits from Wahhabi Islam. That's Osama bin Laden's political group. He's wanting to take those funds from the first responders and transfer them to ICE to carry on. Yes, my daughter, my youngest daughter lives in Puerto Rico with her husband in the Coast Guard. And they have 3-year-old twins, twin daughters. And yesterday, one of the twins started mimicking the sound of a smoke alarm. And they were stunned. Well, it turned out the apartment next to theirs was on fire. And this little girl saved their lives because they were chattering with my oldest daughter who was there on a visit. And I started thinking about being bombed. And terrorism starts with bombing, in my humble estimation. Yesterday, Joe Kent, the director of the National Counterterrorism Center, wrote, President Trump, after much reflection, I've decided to resign from my position as director of the National Counterterrorism Center effective today. He was appointed by President Trump. I cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. I support the values and the foreign policies that you campaigned on in 2016, 2024, which you enacted in your first term. Until June of 2025, you understood that the wars in the Middle East were a trap that robbed America of the precious lives of our patriots and depleted the wealth and prosperity of our nation. In your first administration, you understood better than any modern president how to decisively apply military power without getting us drawn into never-ending wars. You demonstrated this by killing Qasem Soleimani and by defeating ISIS. Early in this administration, high-ranking Israeli officials and influential members of the American media deployed a misinformation campaign that wholly undermined your America First platform and sowed pro-war sentiments to encourage a war with Iran. This echo chamber was used to deceive you into believing that Iran posed an immediate and imminent threat to the United States, and that should you strike now, there was a clear path to a swift victory. This was a lie and is the same tactic the Israelis used to draw us into the disastrous Iraq war that cost our nation the lives of thousands of our best men and women. We cannot make this mistake again. As a veteran who deployed to combat in Iraq 11 times, and as a Gold Star husband who lost my beloved wife Shannon in a war manufactured by Israel in Syria, I cannot support sending the next generation off to fight and die in a war that serves no benefit to the American people, nor justifies the cost of American lives. I pray that you will reflect upon what we are doing in Iran and who we are doing it for. The time for bold action is now. You can reverse course and chart a new path for our nation, or you can allow us to slip further toward decline and chaos. You hold the cards. It was an honor to serve in your administration and to serve our great nation. And I would ask that everyone contact Representative Taylor or your own congressional representative and urge them to Google this letter as I did, in case that Congress could act on any of the resolutions being introduced. And I've got a copy for each of the members here. Thank you.
Anyone else want to speak this morning? If not, I'm going to move on. Okay. Item E is consent agenda. Board, you've had this in time to review. Do I have a motion to approve as presented?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran. Yes. Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Moving on to item F. First on the agenda is 13. Item 13, it's a recommendation that the Board of County Commissioners adopt resolution number 040-26 to approve payment to vendors in the total amount of $4,548,596.64 as outlined in the BCC approval invoice report for checks dated March 18th, 2026, BCC directed prepaid invoice report and procurement card transaction report as presented by the county auditor on March 16, 2026, further authorizing the county auditor to issue warrants pursuant to and in compliance with Section 319.16 of the Ohio Revised Code. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make the motion.
Second.
Roll call, Gail?
Commissioner Corcoran. Yes. Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Good morning, Lyle.
Item 14 is a recommendation to authorize Jeremy P. Evans, the county engineer, to execute and submit the grant agreement with the Ohio Emergency Management Agency out of Columbus, Ohio, for the provision of disaster relief funds for the Bethel Concord Road C11-2.77 bridge replacement project for reimbursement of 75% of the eligible expenses, estimated at $121,458.01, with a required local match of 25% in compliance with the terms and conditions of the grant agreement.
Thank you. Board, we've had the reading of item 14. Do I have a motion to approve as read?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran. Yes. Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes, thanks, Lyle. Morning, Jesse.
Good morning.
Morning.
Jessica Weiderhold, Department of Public Safety. Item number 15 is the recommendation to approve the request for statement of qualifications for architectural and engineering services to develop written specifications, plans, and estimates for the purchase and installation of a new generator at the Grant Tower site, including the removal of the existing obsolete generator, according to the scope of services and selection process outlined in Ohio Revised Code 153.67, and to authorize the clerk of the board to place a legal notice in the newspaper of general circulation on Thursday, March 26, 2026, with qualifications to be received until 2 p.m. local time on Thursday, April 9th, 2026, in the office of Board of County Commissioners, 101 East Main. This legal notice will also be posted on the county's website.
Thank you. Board, we've had the reading of item number 15. Do I have a motion to approve as read?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes, thank you. Hi, Emily.
Good morning, Board. Emily Akers, Office Management and Budget. I have a recommendation to adopt Resolution 041-25 to authorize the execution of a memorandum of understanding between the Board of County Commissioners and the Clermont County Department of Job and Family Services for the lease of office space within the county building located at 2400 Clermont Center Drive, Batavia, Ohio 45103, at annual rates established based on actual depreciation schedules and capital additions to the building and adjusted for previous payments for the total remaining payments of $511,521.02 payable to the Clermont County Department of Job and Family Services in annual installments. Payable by the Clermont County Department of Job and Family Services in annual installments due on the 1st of July of each year, commencing on 7/1/2025 through 7/1/2037, effective for the years 2025 through 2037, pursuant to and in compliance with the terms and conditions in the MOU.
Thank you. Board, we've had the reading of item number 16. Do I have a motion to approve as read?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes, thanks,
Yes,
Emily.
Thank you.
Good morning, Joel. Hi, Joel.
Joel Gross, Director, Water Resources Department. Item number 17 is a recommendation to execute a contract for professional services between the Board of County Commissioners of Clermont County, Ohio, and Fishbeck Thompson Carr and Huber, Inc., does business as Fishbeck, for engineering design services for the Hall Run Trunk Sewer Replacement Downstream Section Project number 6402-60267, located in Union and Miami Townships, as outlined in Exhibit A, from their proposal dated February 3rd, 2026, for a total amount not to exceed $206,640.00, with said services to be completed within 395 consecutive calendar days upon issuance of a written notice to proceed from the Clermont County Water Resources Department, exclusive of county review time and contingent upon the release of the required purchase order.
Thank you. Board, we've had the reading of item number 17. Do I have a motion to approve as presented?
Make the motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Item 18.
Item number 18 is a recommendation to adopt resolution number 042-26, resolving to amend resolution number 011-26, previously ratified by the Board of County Commissioners on January 21st, 2026, which are approved revised general plans for the 5-year wastewater capital improvement plan 2025 to 2025, and to amend said plan to include the Middle East Fork Wastewater Treatment Plant Clarifier Number 2 project number 6402-60269, located within the Village of Batavia, to authorize and direct the Clermont County Water Resources Department to perform or have performed preliminary and design engineering, preparation of detailed plans, specifications, contract documents, and estimates of costs for the proposed improvement, and further authorize the employees or agents to enter onto private and/or public properties to be affected by the proposed improvement after sufficient notice to owners and/or persons in possession or control of such properties to perform soil investigations, surveys, appraisals, and other examinations as deemed necessary in order to finalize said preliminary or design engineering contract documents, design engineering, contract documents, acquisition of necessary rights of ways, and estimates of cost pursuant to Chapter 6117-01 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Thank you. Board, we've had the reading of item number 18. Do I have a motion to approve as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran, Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Commissioners, item number 19 is a recommendation to adopt resolution number 043-26 to determine to make improvements for the construction, operation, and maintenance of the Middle East Fork Wastewater Treatment Plant Clarifier Number 2 Rehabilitation Project located in the Village of Batavia as outlined in Exhibit A and designated as project number 6402-60269 in conformance with the specifications and estimate of cost and financing, and to approve the request to advertise for bids for project number 6402-60269 pursuant to the specifications, and to authorize the clerk of the board to place a legal notice in a paper of general circulation on Thursday, March 26th, 2026, scheduling a non-mandatory pre-bid meeting on Thursday, April 9th, 2026 at 1 p.m., with bids to be received until 2 p.m. local time on Thursday, April 23rd, 2026, in the office of the Board of County Commissioners, 101 East Main Street, Batavia, Ohio, where they will be publicly opened and read aloud. This notice will also be posted on the Clermont County's homepage under legal notices.
Thank you. Board, we've had the reading of item number 19. Do I have a motion to approve as presented?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Thank you, Joel.
Thanks, Joe.
Good morning, Sandy.
Good morning. Sandy Todd, HR Director, and item 20 is a recommendation to amend Appendix 4.09 of the county's Personnel Policy Procedure Manual with respect to the classification plan as outlined in Exhibit A, effective upon approval. The majority of these changes correspond with changes to the Ohio Board of Building Standards, so there's some title changes only, with pay ranges and duties remaining the same. Those titles include a Master Plans Examiner will now be known as Commercial Plans Examiner. Plans Examiner will now be known as Residential Plans Examiner. And our Permit Specialist, the state has come up with a certification, so we are going to split that into two classification levels. So we will have the Permit Specialist, now known as non-certified, at the pay range 10. And then we will add a Certified Permit Specialist at a pay range 12. And lastly, in that department is the engineer. We currently have an engineer 1 or 2 that's going to be collapsed into a single classification of just engineer at the current pay range of C. And we will be abolishing the engineer 2 classification title. Then we have a pay range change for our deputy assistant county administrator from a pay range E to F. And then we are going to abolish the assistant county administrator of transportation and internal service departments at a pay range G.
Thank you. Board, we've had the reading of item number 20. Do I have a motion to approve as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Item 21 is a recommendation to adopt a revised table of organization for the Board of County Commissioners that is abolishing that assistant county administrator of transportation and internal service departments and adding an executive assistant 2, class number 79125, pay range A, as outlined in Exhibit A, effective April 20th, 2026, and to authorize the update of the internet links and appendices accordingly.
Thank you. Board, we've had the reading of item number 21. Do I have a motion to approve as presented?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
And lastly is item 22, which is a recommendation to adopt a revised table of organization for the Department of Community and Economic Development as outlined in Exhibit A, effective upon approval. And those changes are to affect some of those title changes we just did in that classification plan. So the table will reflect the permit specialist can be filled as either a certified or non-certified permit specialist. changing the title for our master plans examiner to commercial and plans examiner to residential plans examiner. And then the engineer just reflective as the engineer.
Board, we've had the reading of item number 22. Do I have a motion to approve as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran, Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes, thank you, Sandy. Morning, Kennedy.
Item number 23 is a recommendation to authorize Bonnie J. Batchelor, President of the Board, to digitally execute the First Amendment to the Lead Safe Ohio Grant Agreement between the Board of County Commissioners and Ohio Department of Development, previously ratified by the Board of County Commissioners on March 6, 2024 for the Lead Safe Ohio Grant Program with the First Amendment to amend the total grant award. The state had some leftover funds, so we were awarded an additional $115,000, which will allow Habitat to do about 3 more houses. So it's great.
Good. Thank you. We've had the reading of item number 23. Do I have the motion to approve as presented?
Make the motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes, thanks, Kennedy.
And then I believe I also have item number 24, which is a recommendation that the Board of County Commissioners execute letters of support for the FY27 congressionally directed spending application to Senator Bernie Moreno and Senator John Husted for the jail roof replacement project submitted by the Clermont County Sheriff's Office.
Board, we've had the reading of item number 24. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran, Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes, thank you. Gail, you got this one.
Yes, I do. Recommendation that the Board of County Commissioners execute a letter of support for the Ohio Valley Regional Development Commission, that's known to us as OVRDC, to apply for the 2026 Annual Appalachian Regional Commission Local Development District Administrative Grant.
Thank you. Board, we've had the reading of item number 25. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make the motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
I will abstain. I serve on that board. Thank you. Sandy, you're back.
Item 26 is a recommendation to designate Commissioner Bonnie Batchelor as the voting designee and myself as the voting designee alternate for the County Employee Benefit Consortium of Ohio, or we've heard to SEBCO, their annual membership meeting for calendar year 2026.
Thank you. Board, we've had the reading of item number 26. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran, Commissioner Batchelor.
I will abstain again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Morning, Commissioners. Michael Flores from the Clermont County Prosecuting Attorney's Office. I'm here with item number 27. It's a recommendation of the Board of County Commissioners to adopt Resolution 044-26, resolving to authorize the transfer pursuant to Section 30710B of the Ohio Revised Code of approximately 3.002 acres of real property known as a permanent parcel numbers 27-28-11C, as in Charlie, -100, is 648 Old State Route 52 in New Richmond, Ohio 45157, situated in Pierce Township, Clermont County, Ohio, entitled in the name of the Board of County Commissioners to the Clermont County Board of Developmental Disabilities, 2040 U.S. Route 50, Batavia, Ohio 45103, and to authorize the execution of the limited warranty deed, therefore, as prepared by the Office of the Prosecuting Attorney, our office, and all other documents necessary to convey said parcels and complete the recording of the transaction relative thereto.
Thank you. Board, we've had the reading of item number 27. Do I have a motion to approve as presented?
Make the motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes, thank
Thank
you. Okay, moving on to item G. Do we have any additions to the agenda, Tom? Item I. Chris McClinic, you're going to do a presentation this morning?
Yes.
Oops.
Good morning. Sorry. I brought too much good stuff with me. Good morning, commissioners,
Morning.
members of the audience, and those watching remotely. Thank you for the opportunity to provide an update on the Community Economic Development Department. And what you'll see, the theme of today is growth. 2025 was a year of strong growth for Clermont County, marked by record development activity, continued private investment in community and economic development projects, and meaningful progress across our strategic initiatives. We focused on supporting that growth in a way that is strategic, responsible, and aligned with long-term interests of the county. Today, I'll highlight that growth and leave you with the priorities we have for 2026. We put my picture up there so there wasn't an imposter that came in and gave this presentation, so you know I'm the actual development director. So the department overview, Clermont County Department of Community and Economic Development is the umbrella department responsible for promoting economic growth, supporting community development initiatives, and coordinating strategic investment throughout Clermont County. The department also provides staff for the Clermont County Port Authority, the Clermont County Improvement Corporation, Clermont County Land Bank Reutilization Corporation, or the Land Bank, and also the Clermont County Planning Commission. The department's divisions include economic development, community development, planning, GIS or geographic information systems, and the building department. And we also work with management of the airport as well. So I'm going to go through each of these divisions and kind of highlight the big items that happened in 2025. And there's some of this will go back to 2020 as well, just to kind of demonstrate the growth that we've seen since that time. So economic development, what is that? It's supporting new and expanding businesses by providing site selection assistance, workforce resources, and guidance on available financial incentives and tax credit programs. The department works with regional partners such as Ready Ohio, Jobs Ohio, and local jurisdictions to attract investment, encourage job creation, and help existing companies grow within the county. We also work with the Clermont County Port Authority, which provides facilitating economic development projects through financing tools, property acquisition, and development partnerships. The bread and butter of the Clermont County Port Authority is sales tax exemption projects or capital leaseback projects. We've done about 15 of those over the last 5 years, and I'll go into some of those numbers in a little bit. And then the CIC, or the Clermont County Improvement Corporation, again, is a nonprofit economic development corporation, and we essentially are developers of commercial and industrial properties. That started over at Ivy Point, where TQL is now, moved to the Ford plant, moved to South Afton Industrial Park, where the Nestle Purina is currently under construction, and currently segue into the current site that we have, which is called the Eastern Cincinnati Innovation Park, which you can see highlighted here. This is State Route 32 along the blue. This is Half Acre Road where my mouse is, and you can see all the development that's happened there over the last few decades, where you have Purina being built now, Design Within Reach. That's the South Afton Industrial Park. We have Freeman Enclosures, Millicron. So we have quite a bit of industrial development along that south side, and now we're working on the north side. We have 162 acres. We've owned it for about a year and a half. Early 2025, we had a company interested, and that deal did not amount to a sale of the property. And then about the last 8 months, we've been in competition with other sites throughout the United States and Ohio, wooing a company, European pharmaceutical manufacturer. And we are working through that process right now. And what that would look like would be a facility of 1 to 2 million square feet, an investment of over $1 billion, and somewhere in the neighborhood of 300 to 700 new jobs. Yes, sir.
I just wanted to make sure that you put a shout in there about Design Within Reach. Design Within Reach was the first economic development project that we had in this particular area, and currently is building an expansion.
100,000 square foot expansion.
You might want to touch on that.
Which down here, that is adding an additional 30 full-time jobs. So another big win for the county this year, and these are wins for properties for companies that aren't currently in Clermont County. So we have business attraction, which is what this is, and then we have business retention, which I'll go into in just a second. But Project Comida, Dainty Foods, this project was announced about 2 weeks ago. It is a Canadian food manufacturer, and this is their first footprint in the United States. And they've chosen a site on Curlis Lane in Batavia Township. They'll be investing $85 million in creating 240 full-time jobs, well-paying jobs. And they essentially are a private label rice production company. The pre-cooked rice that you find in the grocery stores is what they do. So they've announced that project. They will be starting construction on that and hope to open and be under production in 2027, late 26, 27. The Economic Development Department has not had a strategic plan updated for quite some time. And with the amount of growth that we're seeing, we felt it was a good idea to bring in some professionals to assist us with economic development forecasting and developing strategic initiatives. And the biggest thing we're looking at here is how are we providing a return on our investment? There are public dollars involved with many of these projects. So when we're using those taxpayer dollars, how are we getting return on the investment and giving back to the community? Business retention expansion. This is probably one of the biggest parts of economic development. The vast majority of new development, new job creation happens with existing businesses, not with the new businesses. So we're out every day, not every day, but every week, meeting with businesses and talking to them about their needs, what they need to help assist with growth, some issues they may be having that we can assist with. A big win for us is Multicolor Corporation in Batavia. This was a company we've been working with for several years, and they had a portion of this facility here, and there was an existing manufacturer on the other portion of it. And Multicolor was running out of space, and they were at risk of losing contracts because they didn't have enough space and equipment. So they worked with us, Ready Cincinnati, and the building owner to essentially buy out the other business in that building so that they can expand. And so they'll be creating 100 new full-time jobs, an additional 135,000 square feet of additional space. And the risk you run there and why it's so important is that they would have probably left the county to find a facility that met their needs. So we were able to accommodate their growth and keep them in the county. So we did about 37 visits last year. And, the majority of those are everything's going fine, or, we're having a problem with workforce. Can you assist us there? So we work on those. A couple of these are highlights where we've actually went out and talked to these folks, like Meridian Bioscience in Milford. They're going to retain or attract 30 new employees and add 27,000 square feet to their facility. Design Within Reach, which is what Commissioner Painter just asked about. Again, 100,000 square foot expansion, 30 full-time jobs, and they've only been there a handful of years. So this is fast growth for them. And so the Community Improvement Corporation I talked about, we own 162 acres there, just on the north side of Nestle Purina, and that process started back in the early 2000s with some investment by the commissioners at the time to give to the CIC, and that development turned into Ivy Point, which is the TQL site, Fairfax Credit Union. There's still a site there. Children's Hospital just opened up recently in there. The VA's opening up there. So again, what that initial investment, that initial risk did was that was a successful project. We took the money back that we sold. We made some money on that. We purchased, South Athens Industrial Park. We took the money from that and we bought the ESIP site. And so the plan is once we close on the ESIP site, we will, we already have some ideas for what the next sites would be. And we essentially buy those properties, we get them development ready, and we win projects like this US Hub project we were talking about. That's because of all the work we did, the pre-work that we had done for that site. If it didn't have, water and sewer that met the demands of those businesses, then we wouldn't have won that project. So the Clermont County Port Authority, which is another development arm that we operate, essentially Port Authority has many tools at its disposal. What we've done in the last 5 years, though, is 15 housing projects, multifamily. So we do a sales tax exemption, allows them to exempt sales tax on their building materials. We've done 15 of those projects in the last 5 years. 2 of those have been affordable, 2 have been senior. And you're looking at a total of $477 million worth of investment. And port fees, we received about $1.7 million in port fees. And then of those same projects, 4 of them were commercial industrial, 3 manufacturing, 1 healthcare. 740 jobs were created as a result of those investments. $480 million worth of investment and another $1 million in fees to the county port. So right there, you're looking at $1 billion worth of investment just through those 19 port projects. And what does the port do? We do the capital leaseback, which I talked about. We issue conduit bonds. So if a local jurisdiction needs some assistance with infrastructure, we can float those bonds and get paid back through things such as TIFs or property taxes. We have a bond fund, which we can help with public infrastructure, water, sewer, things like that for developers. And we are launching a facade improvement grant program for 2026, which will assist local downtowns in improving the facades of the buildings. And then things that we can do that we're looking into, as a matter of fact, the port is getting ready to undertake a strategic planning effort to guide us on that. And we have the option to do such things as a revolving loan fund, PACE financing, which is energy specific improvements to a project, real estate development, and grant programs. And so on this, you'll see we put together a list of all those projects, those 19 projects we've done, with the investment and details on each project. And again, we're looking at $1 billion worth of total investment, over almost 800 jobs created from that, and over 2,000 housing units created because of that. So that's been a busy year for economic development. Community development has been busy too. Excuse me. So community development is a division, and primary responsibility is to administer federal, state funding programs and support housing improvements, neighborhood revitalizations, and public service initiatives. So what did that include this year? In 2025, that included airport master planning. This would be the first plan that we've worked with the FAA on, and we're about at the 20-yard line. We should wrap that up this year. Matter of fact, we're working through some final planning with them right now. So, and we also entered into a new 5-year agreement management agreement for the folks that run the county airport for us. A comprehensive housing study, which we've not done before. So last summer we were delivered a housing study that essentially showed the amount of growth we've had and the amount of growth that's coming. I like this stat. Put it in perspective. The state of Ohio grew about 2% over the last 10, 15 years. The county grew at 6%. So almost 3 times faster than the rest of the state of Ohio, which is quite remarkable for a smaller county, although now I think we're the 13th largest county, somewhere in that neighborhood of all the 88 counties in the state of Ohio. So our growth is robust, and the chart over here on the right kind of says where that is. So the vast majority is happening in a central submarket. Your Batavia Township, your Miami Township, your Goshen Township area, Pierce Township. The themes that came from that housing study is what we're working on at the staff level, which is how do we foster and support a diversified housing stock. Clermont County has been primarily large lot, single family housing. And with the changing, with everything from mortgage rates to the housing crisis and new construction, we're looking for different diversified housing stock for all the folks. Target development and growth in high demand areas because the infrastructure is already there and you don't have to spend a lot of money on infrastructure. So you want to target that development in areas that already have the infrastructure to do that. We don't want to forget about our existing housing. We have a lot of existing housing. So how do we foster and improve and preserve our existing housing stock? Expand housing options for growing senior population. As you saw before, we've had several senior projects that have happened in the last 5 years. So we want to make sure that when folks get to the point when they want to move out of their homes, that they don't have to move out of the county or out of their current location to do that. And then reduce barriers for entry for first-time home buyers. Any of us that have kids in that age range that are looking to buy houses and we want them out of our basements, we're working to lift some of those barriers and assist on how we can do that. Another project that's been years in the making, Veterans Village, is a 19-home residential project in Monroe Township, a 15-acre site that is going to be under construction here anytime in the spring of this year. And it will provide, like I said, 15 or 19 affordable housing units for veterans within the county. So that's a wonderful community development project. We're cleaning up environmental issues. The state of Ohio has brownfield funds that our community development staff secured. And we have if you've been around the Goshen area for any time, or the county, really, everybody knew the Combs dump site. We received over $2 million, over $2.5 million to remediate that. And what that resulted in, we just kind of finalized the cleanup, and that was 24,000 tons of waste that had to be treated as hazardous waste because it had all kinds of asbestos and oils and things like that in there. So again, that's going on in Goshen, which is seeing robust development. Matter of fact, across the street from this, there's the old Eagles Nest golf course, and there's a large development going through Goshen right now. So this is going to be prime property as that township develops. And then in Newtonsville, we did a community development block grant fund sewer connection program. A lot of those houses down there were still on failing septic systems, and it's expensive to connect to our existing sewer. So we use public funds to assist low to moderate income households connect to that sewer, which is from a public environmental standpoint is huge for those folks. And then as Ms. Briggs was up here talking about earlier, we received some more money for this Lead Safe Ohio grant. We received $930,000 in 24-25, and we were able to remediate 24 homes. And it wasn't just the lead abatement. We would go in, we could do things like new windows, modernization, winterization, things like that. So we're looking to do another 3 or 4 houses with this extra money that we have. So excited that we're able to make those types of impacts in the community. And for community development block grant, these are just a list of the projects that we do. So you can kind of see, we're doing playground projects, we're doing senior repair. We have money to, homeless outreach program, to IPM food pantry to assist with those types of things. So there we go. So you're seeing, well into the millions of dollars going back into the community for community development. The next division I want to talk about is planning. So the planning division is staffed by a senior planner, and he does everything from our subdivision regulations to lot splits, transfers, anything that involves property lines being moved or added or switched around. He's also the staff member for the Clermont County Planning Commission, and he prepares staff reports and recommendations for zoning map and text amendments. So the local townships, get applications in to rezone things, to build things, and that comes through the county's planning commission. And they are a recommending body, so they don't have any authority to make changes. They have authority to make recommendations, and that goes back to local jurisdictions. So again, the growth last year, the planning commission reviewed over almost 3,800 new housing units. The 3 townships that were growing the most were Batavia, Goshen, and Miami. A great project that I want to highlight on here is this Tester Junkyard. So this project here is popping up. But when you think about community development, you think about how things are impacted. This is an old junkyard that had been on, this is 28 or Business 28, and was a blight to the community and an environmental risk. So this company bought it, and have we secured the brownfield funding?
Called the state this morning.
Okay.
They say we're very close.
Okay, so we're working with them on the Combs dump site to get some brownfield remediation money to get this site clean so that we can put this multifamily on there. So again, just a neat thing we get to do and work with the communities on. We also oversee the Ohio Public Works projects for Clermont County, and that's infrastructure projects such as roads, bridges, culverts, stormwater, wastewater supply. Last year for 2025, we were able to bring in over $7 million of money into the county for these projects, for projects like landslide repair, water resources department, a water main replacement. And you can see these are expensive projects that are needed by the public. So we have that money is available every year, and we do a really good job of working with the local communities and our county departments to secure that funding, so that's money that the county commissioners don't have to spend out of their budget in order to make these changes happen. And then another service we offer to the local townships is we help them with land use planning. As you're seeing this growth, a lot of these communities historically have had little growth, and they've been agricultural based, and they haven't had to deal with developers knocking on their doors and what to do. So we're working with them on land use planning. We're working with Goshen Township, Williamsburg Township, Stone Lake Township on updating, either creating or updating old land use plans. So if these folks were doing it on their own, it could be $50,000 to $100,000 that they'd have to come up with out of their budget to hire a consulting firm to do that. So the value we add to them is substantial. And again, that helps the county as a whole, because we're going to update our own comprehensive plan based on the comprehensive plans of our local jurisdictions. Subdivision regulations. This is a document that's continually being updated and revised. We work closely with the development community to make changes and to adopt this. Matter of fact, last year we made some changes after we met with the Home Builders Association to allow some phased improvements, and that allowed them to get their homes going, and they're not sitting on property that we're waiting on, like infrastructure projects to go through. So we're working on that right now. Ohio Valley Regional Development Commission, we are involved in that, and that is part of the Appalachian community, and we are the westernmost Appalachian community in the state of Ohio. And so we are a part of that group, and we work with them on economic development, transportation planning, loans, things like that. As we as a staff continue to show that we're keeping up with what's going on in the field today, there are certifications we can get. Our senior planner received his American Institute of Certified Planning certificate this year, which you have to have a certain amount of education, certain amount of years of experience, and you have to pass a test, and it's pretty tough. So we're excited that happened. Another division of us is Geographic Information Systems, GIS. These are the folks that are in their office most of the time, making sure that all of our mapping systems are running smoothly, so that folks in the building department and public health, and all throughout the county and state can have access to updated plans and aerial photographs and property information. And then last but not least is our building division. They are primarily responsible to administer and enforce the Ohio Basic Building Code and construction regulations in the unincorporated areas of Clermont County. They review construction plans, issue permit, perform inspections for residential and commercial. They are in charge of the water management and sediment control regulations and the floodplain agency as well. And another statistic that is, I guess, not surprising, but when you see it, it is Clermont County, for the whole Cincinnati metro area, we account for almost 25% of all permits issued. And that includes Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky, Warren County, Butler County. So about a quarter of the development in the region is happening in Clermont County. So that really puts it in context of kind of the growth that we're seeing. So that's kind of a summary of what happened in 25. What are our 26 priorities? In economic development, we want to continue to drive job creation and private investment, expand commercial industrial tax base. Community development, strengthen our neighborhoods and support housing stability through strategic use of federal and state resources. Planning, we want to guide sustainable growth through coordinated planning and community partnerships. As I said, we are growing, but we also want to do that in a sustainable way. We're not just saying yes to every developer that comes in, and we have some strategy there, because if you don't, then we run into issues with transportation, infrastructure, all those issues. So you have to plan for these things. The building department is support safe construction and accommodate continued growth through efficient permitting and inspection services. And the table of organization and the jobs you talked about earlier today is a result of the state realizing that we are having trouble in this industry attracting and retaining employees. So they've given us some tools to help us do that. And then GIS, better planning for infrastructure decisions, improve transparency, and enhance interdepartmental coordination. They work a lot with the internal departments throughout the county and offices. And in 2026, we'll focus on aligning Clermont County's growth with strategic planning, responsible development, and continued investment in the communities. And last but not least, I want to thank the team that I work with for their hard work and commitment, because without their work, none of this growth and this progress would be possible. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Very informative.
Happy to take any questions if anybody has any.
Yeah. Let's get your group up here and we'll take a picture.
Okay.
We need to get the rest of the GIS.
Go get them.
Should I run again?
Go get 'em.
Yeah, go get them.
They're gonna be really happy.
Sorry, sorry if I went a little too long, but there's a lot of stuff going on.
I think it's all information everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Commissioners, anything you want to add to what Chris just spoke of?
Chris, that was great.
Thank you.
That's a great way to communicate what's going on around Clermont County. I think we've seen some lack of communication, maybe in some other counties, just so the people here know what you're focused on, what we're focused on when it comes to economic development. And being aware, even though they may not have specific details from your presentation, they know what's being considered around them. So thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks to all of you for doing what you do.
And we'll work with communication department to see if we can get this out to the community, because I think there's a lot of the way we did this story map instead of a PowerPoint presentation is you can click on all these links and it'll take you to all these different plans and studies and all that stuff.
Okay.
Come on up. Let's go down. Yeah. Let them stand in front of us.
Come on, Heath.
Come on. You're ready for a picture. We are now.
You guys want to put Chris right in the middle, right? There you go.
Got an old fraternity picture.
There you go.
College is kind of like this, but we're
You guys are dressed the nicest. Can you see them?
I'll get them.
Yeah, rearrange the bodies.
Should I get on Scott's shoulders? Or no set?
Our hands like this.
You gotta suck your gut in on three, right? Well, I can fix that.
AI will.
Keith, put your hands like this. Thank you. Everybody else is doing it.
Uh-oh.
Oh, wow.
Workers' comp.
Yeah, we need Gary. All right, everyone look here, and we'll go 3, 2, 1.
Begley.
You blink.
Nope, you good? Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Good job. Thank you all.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
You'll learn.
He does.
Once again, thank you, Chris.
Thank you. Thanks for your support. Without all that, none of this is going to happen.
Okay. Okay, we'll move on to item J, member comments. Anything from the board?
You know, obviously, we continue to hear about the ICE, the 287G with our sheriff's department, and just wanted to touch on a couple of things there. I know the sheriff's been over and he's given, information to people who've come to this meeting. 287G allows him to assign people within his staff that have the same qualifications as ICE people do. And the reason that he does that is to make sure that when they go to anywhere in Clermont County, that the deputies department is well represented there. And he's always concerned about First Amendment rights and about violation of people's rights, regardless of if you're a citizen or non-citizen within Clermont County. So, one of the things that doesn't come out in a lot of those talks is that you can't really impact what goes on across the United States, when it comes to ICE enforcement. Obviously, that's done in a different level than here in Clermont County. But what citizens need to understand is that, Sheriff Stratton is on this particular situation. He has his deputies there trained, just like ICE people are, to make sure that your rights aren't violated, and so that you are treated in a manner that is consistent with anyone else, that has to be detained or has to be taken to another location. We seem to kind of miss that. And one of the things that was talked about this morning was, a recent news story when it comes to people here in Clermont County hurting someone or violating someone's rights. The issue that wasn't talked about was that the perpetrator is an illegal alien to this country and immigrated into this country not in accordance with the laws. The people who are impacted by that should never have been impacted in the first place, because that person shouldn't be in this country. That's what was left out of that conversation this morning, is that, therein lies where the problem is. That's why that there is so much emphasis on, border containment and making sure that people don't come into this country in an illegal situation. And so that really wasn't talked about here, and it really should have been. Our job as commissioners our number one job is to make sure that our citizens here in Clermont County are safe and can raise their families and know that no one is going to run through their front door that is not from this country if our sheriff's department and our law enforcement can prevent it. And so, I know that I know myself and both of you are committed to that cause here, and ensuring that our citizens are safe. And so I think that's a great commitment to make, and we should continue to do it.
I've always said anybody and everybody is welcome to this country, but do it the right way, the legal way. And we'll welcome you with open arms.
Yes, no question.
Anything else? Commissioner Corcoran?
No, just that our sheriff made it clear that he wanted to control the situation, which makes sense that to avoid chaos, if anyone does need to be removed, that he wanted to control the situation, and which is what I think he has done very conservatively, and protection not only of those that are being brought in, but also the families that are being impacted at the time of any type of an arrest. And hats off to him for doing that.
And go on with that. I think he proved that situation. I think it was in Amelia.
Absolutely.
He took control of it, and it was done in a very peaceful way. He allowed them to say goodbye to their wives, their children. So hats off to our sheriff's department.
One other issue that we didn't talk about is that when someone is illegal in this country and that they violate our laws, then they are subject to due process. If they're found guilty of those laws, then we have to house them and take care of them while the penalty is actually managed that they have violated. So in other words, someone that comes into this country illegally that harms someone, they have a victim. And that person is placed into jail or into prison. And if it's jail here in Clermont County, we pay for that. Our citizens pay for, that particular incarceration. If they are transferred to the state of Ohio, our tax dollars administer that penalty. And that is one of the things that wasn't talked about. It wasn't talked about that, look, we're a country that the government only needs to do the things that we cannot do collectively for ourselves. But however, should we taxpayers pay for the incarceration of people who are illegal in this country? And we do every day because they have a victim that lives in this country. So think about that for a second. The next time that you hear somebody say, well, we think that should be a misdemeanor, and we think that they shouldn't be held accountable. Ask them, did they know that their tax money pays for that? And that's just another point that is not talked about here. So I think that our sheriff's department and our law enforcement here in Clermont County is doing a great job, ensuring that everyone gets access to due process and is treated fairly. So my hat's off to them.
Okay. Well, the only item left is item K, and that's motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran, Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Thank you for attending.